Here we are, Channel 6 is at the Casket Arts Building with Alejandra Plinka, and we're also at the Sculpture Garden. Northeast has added an outdoor sculpture component to its arts district. Can I call you Ollie?
Yes.
Ollie, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this is Franconia Sculpture Park in the city. So it's at Casket, and it's a new component that we've just added on last year. And so this is the second year they'll be participating in Art-A-Whirl, and they feature a lot of sculpture works that are permanent throughout the year.
So Franconia, which is way up in Taylor's Falls, is a great partner, and now people can just go over to Northeast and experience a sampling of their art.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You know, it is a drive for people, so it's nice just to have a sample of all the wonderful work that they're doing.
Great. And Friday night, it's Art-A-Whirl. It's a very hectic night here.
It is, yeah.
So thank you for your time with Channel 6. Tell us a little bit about Art-A-Whirl.
So Art-A-Whirl is an open artist studio and gallery tour in Northeast Minneapolis. There's over 50 locations, and they vary from small studios in homes to professional galleries to large studio buildings. And each location has a really distinct personality.
So once a year, they throw the doors open and invite everybody in North America to come.
Absolutely. It's a great time just to get an idea of the really unique destination that is the Arts District. So they open their doors. It's a very non-intimidating, fun, welcoming community.
And the Arts District is really a year-round operation, so this is a big weekend, but there's also other opportunities to explore the buildings.
Yeah, you know, that's what makes Art-A-Whirl so wonderful, is that you can find an artist that you like, maybe for the first time, and then you can come back to monthly open studio tours that we have throughout the rest of the year. So there's lots of locations in the Arts District that participate in First Thursdays, which from 5 to 9 p.m. every first Thursday of the month, they open their studio doors. That's the most well-known one. There's also Saturdays at Northrop King Building, First Fridays at Karma Building, second Saturdays at California Building.
And as executive director, you must be very proud, whether it's glass blowers or sculptors, painters. What a great organization that the Northeast Minneapolis Arts Association is.
Oh, our members are wonderful, and you know, the diversity of the work that they do, it's over 20 mediums or more. So it ranges from 2D to 3D, and their work is shown throughout the world. So we have a really wonderful collection of professional artists here.
And what is the website for NEMA?
So we have a new website that just launched this year. So it's nema.org, NEMAA.org.
Okay. And how about a phone number in case anybody wants to call?
Sure. It's 612-788-1679.
Allie, thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Through a great stroke of luck here, I found John Hawk, who is the grandfather of Franconia, and now we just welcome you in Northeast. Could you tell us a little bit, though, about your main sculpture park up in Franconia?
Well, you know, Franconia Sculpture Park, it's up by Taylor's Falls. It's only 54 miles or something from here. But we do a lot of work up there. We have 10 fellowships every year. We have 12 intern fellowships. We have open studio fellowships. We're supporting artists. We bring them in, we give them money, we let them do what they want. We help young artists move on into bigger, better careers, graduate school. Older artists get jobs in teaching in schools. And what we've wanted to do for many, many years is to have a site in Minneapolis so that we could have some programming down here.
And what better place than the Northeast Minneapolis?
Than Northeast, and here at Casket Arts, the opportunity was knocking. John Kramer and Jennifer Young have been totally supportive of us. The studio behind us here has got the factory building, has got 4 sculptor studios upstairs. They gave us a gallery space. We have a gallery space down here, so we're showing painters and sculptors, and we're just trying to bring more art, into the cities so we can, people don't have to travel quite as far. But also encouraging new people that don't know about us to find out about Franconia Sculpture Park and come up. We have kids make sculpture programs.
And what about the iron pour? How often you do iron pour?
The iron pour every August, the first Saturday in every August, and we invite the public. 3,000-4,000 people come every year up there to Franconia, and we invite them to make a mold of their own and make a little sculpture. We give them a little sand block, they scratch into it, and they make their own sculpture, and they get to take it home. It costs a little bit of money, but it's nothing really. We run 3 furnaces this year, and it's a really exciting event. It's August, it's hot, but we love it.
So, John, I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks for your help. And we met through Doug Padilla.
Doug Padilla.
So when you see
the
Doug,
other unofficial mayor of Northeast.
you tell Doug that I owe him a breakfast at Elsie's.
Okay, Michael, it's very good to see you again, and thank you all, and find Franconia Sculpture Park again soon and often.
Channel 6 now, we're at the Solar Arts Building with one of the proprietors, Dwayne Arns. And Dwayne, I got to ask you, how the heck do you end up owning an old industrial building in Northeast next to the railroad tracks and converting it into an arts building? What's the story?
Yeah, well, that's a pretty interesting story because, 10 months ago, I would have never thought I'd be a co-owner of a building as well also. But a good friend of mine, Tim Mershon from Northeast Realty, brought me up to a building here that was a 100-year-old building, and it's just fabulous. It feels like you're walking back in time when you walk into the building here. And so I called up my Uncle Larry and see if he'd be interested in actually partnering up in something. And so Tim, gave us a tour not only of the building but the area and so forth, and we just fell in love with it.
And did your Uncle Larry think you were nuts?
Well, yes, yeah. Took a little bit of time for him to kind of convince him that this was actually going to be a pretty good investment, I think, and we think it is. And we think it is, and we've gotten a lot of positive feedback. The suites kind of rent themselves, and we're hoping to do some kind of event space on the third floor. Kind of go through a couple of hoops there for that to happen yet. We got the microbrewery downstairs. We're going to have a coffee shop in front of the building.
And what's going to be the name of the microbrewery?
Indeed. And we found them. I sent a paragraph to the Restaurant Association asking them if they could forward this to some of the microbreweries, and they did. And within an hour and a half, we had 3 phone calls. 2 of them come to look at the space, and one of them was Indeed, and they seemed to be pretty sharp guys there, and they seemed to be more ready than the rest of them, and so we decided to work with Indeed, and I think it's going to be a good partnership.
And tell our viewers, where in Northeast are we? I'm kind of looking out one of the windows. I see the Northrop King building. Describe where you are.
I think we're right dead center. I think we're right in the middle. We're across the railroad tracks from the Northrop King building. We are just down the street from the Karma building, an antique architectural building, and we're 2 blocks away from the Casket building.
And the Casket Arts buildings, they have the Franconia outdoor sculpture.
Exactly. And so we're kind of right in the middle of all that.
Solar Arts Building. Why is that name so important?
Well, we got 27 kilowatts of solar panels, 108 solar panels on our roof.
So there's probably going to be times when you're putting electricity back into the system.
We're hoping that 3 or 4 months of the year that our energy bill, our electric bill, is going to be negative. We're going to probably average about $220 a month. It's a little bit higher that we'll generate in the summertime, a little bit lower in the wintertime. And we're thinking some of those months, outside of the summer, those are going to be free months for us.
Great. So thanks so much for your time. I wish you the best.
Yeah.
Good for you.
All right.
Tell your uncle I said hi.
Yeah, all right, well.
Channel 6 is fortunate enough to have Councilmember Kevin Wright. Kevin Wright is in the 1st Ward of Minneapolis, which is basically the Northeast Arts District. Kevin, thank you for coming down to the Solar Arts Building.
Thank you, Mike. It's glad to be here. And as you know, I'm very happy and very excited about this building, as it's the sort of the newest of many of these buildings that have adaptive reuse. Former manufacturing sites, as you can tell from this artifact here, this was one of those many in Northeast that had built Minneapolis' economy through manufacturing. Now are being adaptively reused for people who still think and create and make things, but now in the new economy of arts and the adaptive, creative industrial culture.
And Kevin, you're a new council member, but yet your influence in the neighborhood goes way back. So you were part of when then council member Paul Ostro convinced the McKnight Foundation to come up with a plan, to fund a plan for the Northeast Arts District.
Correct, yeah, there is a great precedent to create that legislation that formally recognized this section of Northeast Minneapolis as an arts district. It was already acting as one, through events like this weekend's Art-A-Whirl. Certainly had a collection of artists that was unmatched anywhere else in the metro. And to formalize that brought attention and policy that could further stimulate it. And now, from that early beginning, we've more than doubled the economic activity since then. So it really mattered.
Kevin, you must be really proud to not only have tremendous citizens. I get along so well with my neighbors in the First Ward, but to have this arts district too. How exciting!
Yeah, as you say, Mike, Northeast is really built by some strong neighborhoods and neighbors, and it's really dynamic that way, and I'm very happy to be a part of that and proud to be a part of that. And then within that, you have a community within a community. It's the arts community. And again, we have more artists than any other place per capita in this area in Northeast, anywhere in the metro. And it really adds a vibrancy to this community, and it adds it to a community that already has a good sense of itself and a great history, but it adds a new energy that really gives it sparkle.
Well, Kevin, I know you have other stops yet tonight, but can I get a promise from you to come back here and have an Indeed brew with me?
That's one of the easiest promises that I'll keep, Mike, until then. And as you say, I got to whirl around and see many other buildings like this one. This is one of many. It's what I call the newest kid on the block, the Solar Arts Building, but it joins many others, many household names, you could say, California Building, Northrop King Building, and many others. And so hopefully, Mike, you can do a series where we can capture them all and people can get to know them.
Count on Channel 6 to help you, Council Member.
Thank you, Ed.
Take care.
Yep.
Ooh, that's a nice looking one.
So Councilmember Kevin Wright promised me he would come back and have a beer with me at Indeed Brewery. And Tom, tell us all about Indeed Brewery.
Sure, Mike. Indeed Brewing Company was founded with me and two partners in
And what's their names?
Nathan and Rachel, and we brought on a brewer as well named Josh, who worked at Town Hall Brewery on the West Bank in Minneapolis here for about 11 years. And we formed the business 2011 and wrote a business plan and shopped around for spaces and found this space here in the Solar Arts Building.
So we're in the first level of Solar Arts Building. There isn't too much equipment in here now.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of work to get this building prepared to house a brewery. Breweries need plumbing, they need floors, they need things to be cleaned up, and this building was a tad dilapidated when we arrived, so we've been spending a lot of time just fixing it up.
That's a polite way for saying it was a dump.
It was a dump, and we're happy to participate in making it not a dump, and hopefully making it another good part of the Northeast, the Arts District up here, and Minneapolis as a whole.
And what is going to set Indeed Brewery apart from the other breweries? What's so good about you?
Sure, breweries have been opening for years here in the state, but they really have stayed out of the cities until now. Because you couldn't have a tap room, which is a place where you could have customers come in and buy a pint of beer. But that law changed about a year and a half ago. So we adjusted our business plan and decided to open up for sure in the city. And that allows us to be close to our customers and interact with them and hopefully sell more beer as well.
So the city council led by, was Gary Schiff, who actually was kind of the author of the bill, wasn't he?
Well, it was a state level bill, but then it did have to go down to the city level and they form it for the city itself. And Schiff was a part of that as well, yep. So.
And now there's this whole new industry that evolves around home brewing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it starts with home brewing. You're going to meet any brewer, whether they're at Summit or down to us or Dangerous Man over in Northeast as well. We all start as home brewers. It's one of those hobbies that starts out as a little kit maybe for Christmas or just an interest, and then sometimes it takes over a closet, sometimes it takes over a whole basement, and sometimes it takes over 12,000 square foot of warehouse space. So
this
that's where we are now.
This is a hell of a hobby.
It is a hell of a hobby, and now it's a business, and we're looking forward to part of our business is meeting a lot of our customers, selling a lot of beer, and interacting with the community and supporting the community and supporting Northeast and the artists and everything else.
Now, what is the website for Indeed Brewery?
Oh, it's indeedbrewing.com. So Indeed, which is sometimes over the phone is misconstrued as just Indeed, but indeedbrewing.com, and you can Twitter us, Facebook us, and everything else. So.
Give me an estimated time when you're going to have your first customer.
First customer, we're thinking mid-late July, but we should be brewing beer by the end of June, no problem. So we have, we've pretty much finished the majority of the construction. The equipment is literally being loaded up on trucks almost as we speak.
How many cans are behind us?
That's almost 3,900 cans, and believe it or not, you can fit nearly 23 kegs of beer in all those cans. And so in our canning line, which will do 36 cans a minute, it'll take just about an hour and a half to fill all those cans up with beer. Really good beer.
Tom, thanks so much for your time. I wish you and your partners the best. I remember the first time I met you guys at Maeve's Coffee Shop on a cold winter day, and I'm glad to think that everything's working out, and I think you're going to do just fine here in Northeast.
Yeah, I'll see you in our tap room, Mike.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Tom, I wish you all the success in the world.
Thanks, Mike. Cheers.
Astrovia.
All right.
Yeah.
Flavorful.
That'll work. In our tour of Northeast, we're saving the best for last. We're at the Glassblowing School, and Michael, tell us a little bit about where we are here on East Hennepin Avenue.
All right. Well, we're at FOSI, Minnesota Center for Glass Arts, and we're a community 501c3 glass school. You can come here and learn all about glass.
And I see there's people actually learning how to be glass blowers.
Yep, I think it just finished, but we did have 2 students learning to make like a glass sculpture, and it's the first time they've ever blown glass before, so it was kind of exciting. It's always exciting to see beginners do that, learn for the first time. So, yeah.
And if someone wanted to get involved in glass blowing, how would they go about doing that?
Well, the best way is, I think, we're open to the public, so just, come on down and check it out and talk to some people. We're all real friendly here, and you get to actually see it firsthand. People are blowing glass most days. There are a number of professional artists that make their work and their living out of the studio. So, yeah, just come on down and check it out. I think is the good way to get started, yeah.
How about a website?
Well, yep, the website's pretty good. It's mnglassart.org, and there's a lot of stuff to see there as well. So, yeah.
And, Michael, I know you're really busy on Art-A-Whirl. I want to thank you for spending some time with Channel 6. We wish you the best of luck. And Kevin and I, we're just going to walk around and take it all in. So thank you very much.
That sounds great.
Hi, my name is Michael Rainville, and welcome to MCN. We have another community production, and tonight we're going to show you Northeast Minneapolis. And when we talk about Northeast, and especially 13th Avenue, we have to talk about the Ritz Theatre and the Ballet of the Dolls. And it's my great pleasure to introduce you to the artistic director of the Ballet of the Dolls, Myron Johnson. And Myron, can you tell me what's new at the Ritz Theatre?
What's new today and yesterday is the Target Corporation came in and did a complete building makeover with 9 team leaders and 100 volunteers from Target. All came in and worked from morning till night, finishing all the projects that we never were able to do since we opened, and a ton more.
So Target, volunteers from Target, materials from Target. I noticed in the lobby there's a great set of couches out there. Is that some of the things they've done?
Yeah, they've painted all the walls, they've redone all the bathrooms, they brought in new furniture, new office furniture, redid the dressing rooms. It's unbelievable. I could go on and on.
Myron, you know, I find it fascinating that you and I both grew up here in Lower Northeast. We didn't know each other until we met later in our lives, but you know, yet as a young man, you would go by this theater just as I would, and it was very different than it is today.
Oh, unbelievable. I used to walk from California Street to Edison High School, and every day I would go by, and I would come here when it was a movie theater, when I was a little kid. And the shoe store, I remember the shoe store. I remember this block. I used to walk it every single day to school and back.
Did you ever go into Ludwig's Bakery and get a donut? Yeah.
Absolutely.
And a little bit earlier we were talking and you had mentioned that Casey Jones had his birthday party here one time.
This is such a great story. One of the volunteers from Target came up to me and said when he was a kid, he would come to the movie theater. And he said one of his greatest memories was Casey Jones' birthday party where they played musical chairs and he won and got put on TV and won all these prizes and stuff. Then I'm talking to Mike Rainville later, and I said, you know, one of the volunteers came here for Casey Jones' birthday. He came here for Casey Jones' birthday and lost.
I was the second guy. There's down to 2 guys on the musical chairs, and he was the Target guy's a little older than me. He fast talked. He bumped me out with it. He had a bigger dupa, and he won the contest.
Dupa.
Myron, when I first met you, I wondered why you had the level of talent you did, and you had told me you've actually trained in Paris under Marcel Marceau.
I did. When I was going to Edison High School, I quit high school in 11th grade, went to France to study with Marcel Marceau in the Paris Opera Ballet.
And then how did you actually get to meet him? That's a great story, too.
I had seen him on Johnny Carson when I was little, really young, and for some reason he fascinated me. I absolutely loved what he did. And I heard that he was going to be in Fargo, North Dakota. And I was 16 and I got a train ticket and took the train to Fargo, North Dakota by myself, went to the show, got a ticket, went to the show, found a way to get backstage, met him, and no one else went backstage to meet him. I snuck back there, and he said, I have a school. Why don't you come there?
What an invitation.
And I said, okay, I will. And 6 months later, I was in France.
And that was the start of your creativity, a big step up. Myron, thanks for helping out today with the show and showcase of Northeast. Isn't it amazing what a cultural asset that the Ritz and really Northeast as a community has become?
Yeah, Northeast I love Northeast even before we moved here. I thought Northeast was all the artists and stuff that had come from the warehouse district that got pushed out of the warehouse district were starting to move here. And so I already knew that it was getting cool over here. Then once we opened the theater, 13th Avenue is a completely different place. And I know people from all over Minneapolis, all the suburbs that come to 13th Avenue as a destination now.
Yeah, it's great. They can park and then they not only have the theater, but all the great restaurants around here and the music.
Galleries and stores, shops, little shops, bakeries, everything's here now.
Well, again, thank you for your help, and I love your bracelet, by the way.
Thank you. It's a friend of mine. She borrowed it to me.
And
Just to be on TV.
and how about one last call out to the Target crew?
Thank you, Target, for everything you did in the last 2 days. Unbelievable.